So phase 2 would happen next year, after, FY18. And the first thing for phase 2, and these are kind of together, are routes 1 and 2. And today, routes 1 and 2 are essentially, it's difficult to explain, which is one of the reasons why we're trying to change it. They form one giant loop, the Wade Park Pantown routes. And they have their route number depending on the direction of service that they're operating in. What we're proposing is now route 1 be a very simple, straightforward from downtown down the 3rd Street corridor, around 37th, there's some of the new hotels there, through Crossroads and out to Wade Park City Hall and back the same way, a bi-directional route every 30 minutes throughout the day, weekdays, middays, Saturdays, Sundays. Slightly longer Saturday span, about an hour long on Saturday. And route 2, basically the same thing. Every half hour, it would operate from downtown. It would go up on Northway Drive, come down through the new Wade Avenue, into Crossroads. It would still serve the industrial park here. It would serve the VA, and it would also operate bidirectionally back and forth. So essentially, route 2 is a bidirectional route, and route 1 would be a bidirectional route. One minor change here: 2 would use 8th Street to get over to the hospital area. It's just something slightly different from what it does today. Route 4, so now things start to happen when you start doing bidirectional service, and you'll see with Route 10 coming up, etc. So certain pieces of the system now become disconnected from others, so we're trying to reconnect them and have a regularly scheduled bidirectional service. Now this looks a little confusing up here, but essentially what Route 4 does is that it leaves downtown, it runs up towards the hospital again, basically in the same corridor that it does today, but then it assumes parts of the alignments of the existing 4, parts of the 10, etc. But it does this in 2 ways, and then it goes up Highway 15, serves the Sartell Walmart and Sam's Club, comes around, serves the medical offices on Connecticut, ends at Centricare. The way we're assuming now is that it would leave Centricare. Remember, this is phase 2, so you don't have to worry about this summer. Leave Centricare, serve Walmart and Sam's Club again, the Connecticut Avenue offices, and then head down 15 and return to St. Cloud. So that this way, this is really not a giant terminal loop. This becomes, in essence, 2-way service up there. And it goes up to the Walmart. The Sartell Walmart becomes important later on as well. You'll see with some of the Sartell services that we're planning to run out of there. 4 would run every 30 minutes throughout the day, peak and midday, going up there from St. Cloud, and every hour throughout Saturday and Sunday on the weekends, every hourly service on those. 10 is pretty different from what 10 does today. So Westwood is out here, the Westwood Loop, there's the apartment complex, the industrial park, etc. But today, if you want to travel out to the industrial park, you have to switch buses, similar to what we talked about with the Highway 75 situation, where you're forced to transfer on street, and you have to transfer on street in what we call the Anderson-McClellan Loop. It's the industrial park over there. What we're proposing for Route 10 is it becomes a Veterans Boulevard, bi-directional service. It still has a terminal loop out here to turn around, but otherwise it runs bi-directionally from downtown out to Westwood and back. It would have slightly longer weekday and Saturday spans. It would run on Sundays. We're proposing Sunday service on this route. And it would basically run hourly service all the time throughout the day on weekdays as well as on weekends. Route 30 is a phase 2 route. It's a pure expansion route. This one, you've seen iterations of this before. It's been called West Metro, Route 31, whatever it might be, but the way we're looking at this now is to operate the route from the Sartell Walmart Sam's Club loop, then come around, go through Heritage Drive, come down to Pinecone, come out, and then serve the whole, basically the entire western metro corridor, which today there's no service out here in this area today. And it would come down and again use 52nd, I believe that is, and come into Crossroads Center Mall from the west, as opposed to from directly due north. This would be 7-day-a-week service, again, Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday, and it would be every hour. And as you can see, it's sort of, again, you have this ability to go from parts of Sartell, especially this, along Pinecone Road, Coburn's is there, some apartment complexes, etc. You'd be able to get over to Crossroads without necessarily, again, going through downtown St. Cloud And it also provides folks in all of these areas. The Kensington apartments are out here. They're able to get to either of the retail opportunities, job opportunities, et cetera, that would afford them.
So that little where it takes a right, kind of in the middle of the map, that's where the old Gold's Gym Fitness Evolution is? That's that?
This one?
Right, yeah, I think that's, but so then I just want to point out that left-hand turn is really horrible, and can St. Cloud do something about putting a roundabout in there?
Well, if you'll open the gates,
Well, you know what I'm talking about, right? It's really hard to take a left-hand turn there, like by the old Lorimer Gardens. It's, but I mean, it's doable, but at peak traffic hour, I mean, I don't know how aggressive our bus drivers are going to have to be to take a left there.
And I have to
It's a
remember
serious situation.
whether we assumed a cutaway for this or a full size. I can't remember.
Well, and we were going to
Yeah.
turn 4 and 120.
4 and 120.
Yeah, you're right.
You want to put a roundabout there? We can work together.
I just think we just close out Sartell and let her go.
We're gonna build the wall.
And you're paying for it.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Get back to your business.
So that's 30. 30s is, again, all new out, all expansion.
Well, that's
All right.
nice. There's apartments on that 122 all the way up to County
Exactly.
Road 4.
And again, that was something, elements of it is something that's been proposed previously. It's been run previously in different versions, kind of, sort of, different pieces of it, et cetera. Now Sartell, 31, what we're calling 31 and 32. For lack of a better term, right now Sartell operates essentially as a giant mitten-shaped loop route through all of Sartell. And throughout the outreach process, talking with the public, talking with stakeholders, speaking with drivers, it becomes an issue. While your trip in one direction may be relatively quick, you're going to get the grand tour of Sartell on the way back, that kind of thing.
And so you'll be dizzy by the end of it.
And you'll be dizzy, exactly. So what we tried to do here is, again, using the Sam's Club, what used to be called Epic Center, I still want to call it Epic Center, but the Sam's Club and Sartell Walmart turnaround. You'd come out, again, serve the Connecticut Avenue, all the medical offices that are coming up there, Centricare. This is on the 31 now, and then it would operate north on Pinecone, basically duck in sort of towards Heritage Drive. Some of these road connections, I think, are open now. I'm not.
Yeah.
We know they're right. Yep. When we first laid it out, they were actually still being built a couple years ago. And then come back to Pinecone and basically turn around and serve the schools. Should point out, serve the schools in the northern end of Sartell, and then turn around, do a small, quick turnaround loop near the river, and then head back the same way. Serve Centricare, come back the same way. You have a bi-directional route 31. 32, and this would be all new service hours on 32, would come out of the Sartell Walmart Center, cross the river into, it's still Sauk Rapids here, I believe, and then serve the industrial park, come across first, and come back across the river and serve second in Sartell over towards the Honda Center, and then turn around at the rec center there. The idea here is that now you have bi-directional service both on 31 and on 32, which is connecting the various activity centers in Sartell down with the Sartell Walmart, which is where you would meet with the other routes that we've mentioned earlier. The 30, the 4, if you're heading down, to continue down into downtown St. Cloud, and the 4, if you remember, is a every half-hour route, etc.
So you could jump off at the Walgreens and stand around and wait for 31 to go somewhere else if you wanted to. I mean, it's not going to be a legitimate transfer center, but will they align enough, or are you better just sitting on a bus?
The legitimate transfer, the timing, if anything, would be at Walmart. That would probably
Okay,
be
so you
the
might have to
easiest place
stand
do it.
around the Walgreens, basically, to get the 31 down to the Coburns.
We haven't timed that out yet, but we
Oh,
can,
okay.
we have, the nice thing is, if we're kind of starting clean slate here, we can adjust them so that there could be a connection between the 31 and 32.
And that would make it so much more user-friendly, because
Up
then,
here.
if you live in Sauk Rapids or whatever, and for whatever reason you want to come over and go to our Coburn's, or you want to go to, the House of Pizza over here instead of Flying Pig, then he's like, I'm not coming to Sartell. All roads lead to Sartell.
Not really.
Okay, so anyway, it would be, but either way, if it doesn't match up, I mean, certainly you could go into Walgreens and do a little shopping and kill some time, and it might
Right.
build business for
I mean,
them.
keep in mind, one of the things is that, I mean, we all know this in the back of our heads. We know it, intuitively, but it bears saying each route would operate hourly, because each route would take a bus and it would take about an hour to operate each of the services. So, it's not, unfortunately, when you have more limited resources to deal with, it would be nice to be able to say, well, if you just ran service every 10, 15 minutes, it really wouldn't matter. The timing of the connections becomes less of a concern because folks are going to wait 5, 10 minutes at the most. But right, like what Tom is saying, when you're stretched out, when you're stretching the resources to the point that we're trying to do hourly service on each, it becomes a little more of a concern. This also illustrates one of the reasons why in phase 1 we wanted the different transfer policy, because folks are now going to, there's a lot of different trips that you can do when you're connecting, et cetera, that it makes more sense to just give people that flexibility with the different transfer policy. 41, St. Joseph. So this is also pure expansion, meaning when I say pure expansion, what I mean to say is, and I should be more precise, is that yes, the service area is being extended. Obviously, this has all sorts of implications, dial ride service, et cetera, but it's also something that the service hours to provide this are new. They're not coming from a readjustment of some other existing service. The idea for St. Joseph service is to hub out of the Crossroads Center Mall, operate basically a long division all the way into St. Joe's, do a loop around there you go, another Coburn's, do the loop around the Coburn's and Industrial Park in St. Joseph, come out, there's an apartment complex just on the north side here of Minnesota, and then come into St. Ben's, come into the College of St. Ben's and turn around at the Student Center, and then do essentially the same thing on the way back. The cycle time, the time the bus would take to do a round trip would be about an hour, and it would have a bus on it, so it would provide hourly service to connect. It would be a 7-day-a-week service. We're proposing this service, like all the new services, we're proposing that it operate 7 days a week, weekdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And it would allow, we obviously, as part, you all are aware of this. This is something that's been mentioned for several years. Folks in St. Joseph, but especially at St. Ben's in the academic community there, are looking for better connection into St. Cloud. We batted around several ideas. We thought about, and you might remember some versions of this from the plan 5 years ago, the Moving Forward plan, where it also served the Stearns County Center. We're not doing that here. It's not going through the movie. This is basically a straight shot out division to St. Joe's, and you'll see those other generators are served by another route. But we consider downtown service, having a one-seat ride all the way into downtown St. Cloud. The 10 to Westwood is about as long as you'd want to make, or the 12 down to Clearwater Road, that's about as long as you'd want to make a route into downtown St. Cloud. Just because of reliability and on-time performance issues. This, if it was to run further east, would probably have some of those same concerns. So we think it makes sense, also with Crossroads becoming a little bit more of a hub in this plan than it is today, a western hub, so to speak, and that's another long-term issue, but we can get into that later.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
If I'm not mistaken, doesn't St. John's and St. Ben's have a bus that runs between the two also? So this opens up the St. John's students and professors or whoever lives out there also, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, they'd really like to have their students have more options for connecting to get in, and they don't have enough service to run buses in and out of St. Cloud. So what they're really doing is they're hoping to partner up with the city to help the city get a more substantial connection to our system. That's really where their interest is. They're isolated. They know they are. Mm-hmm. They have more students that need to come into our service area for school-related activities, internships and jobs and other types of class activities that they can't provide the service for. So they have a real interest in seeing this happen. They continually contact me, and whenever any of us sees St. Ben's or St. John's representatives we're working with, they're always asking us, where are you at with the bus service? Where are you at with the plan? They're anxious.
They're going to cough up cash, did you say you thought? St. Ben's and St. John's would also cough up some cash like we get from St. Cloud State, and then work with the city of St. Joseph, and then you just have another person at the table, and then what do you do if there's 6 people at the table?
Yeah, there'll be another commissioner if the St. Joe joins.
Okay.
We'll have another commissioner.
And all ties fail, right?
What's that?
And all ties fail?
Sure.
We don't have guys.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm just wondering, it's not about the routes.
We're getting way ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, I know, it's not about the routes.
She's
Focus
looking
on
for
the
two
routes.
spots for St. Sorry.
I'm looking to find my way back to the table when I move into my new house.
All right.
So that's St. Joe.